أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu and welcome to our class today. I hope and pray that everyone is doing very well. So the rule is the rule of Sukoon. As some of you may know, Sukoon is a shaped symbol and it sits on top of a letter. You may also know it as jazm. Okay, some of you may have learnt it as jazm, but for the purpose of these classes, we will be referring to it as sukoon. Okay, any letter carrying a sukoon is known as sakin. A sakin letter joins to the most recent mutaharik letter or most recent voweled letter. And now we're going to find out what those words mean. Okay, let's have a look. So you can see over here on top of this lam, okay, you see this shape over here. This is a sukoon, okay? And on top of this meme as well, you can see we have the same shape. This is a sukoon. So both on top of the lam and on top of this meme, we can see what a sukoon looks like. Sometimes students get confused and mix up a sukoon with a dhamma, and you can see them next to each other. So you can see that dhamma has this rounded bit at the top and then a flick at the bottom, whereas a sukoon is a rounded shape, more like the letter U on its side. Okay, that's a nice way to look at it. So you can see that dhamma and sukoon look different, but sometimes it's easy to mistake the two for each other. So please note that this is sukoon and this is dhamma. Okay, now I just mentioned in the beginning voweled or mutaharik letter. Now this, for example, dal in this case is a voweled letter or a mutaharik letter, and that is because any letter that carries a stroke, so in this instance it's the stroke of dhamma, then that letter is a voweled letter. Okay, so for example, alif over here, it has a fatha, it's a voweled letter. Okay, so any letter carrying a stroke, so any of the strokes that we have looked at before in classes, or inshallah we will go on to look at in future classes as well, any letter that carries those strokes, so fatha, kasra, dhamma, vertical fatha, inverted dhamma, vertical kasra, these are all types of strokes. So these are called voweled letters or mutaharik letters. Okay. Over here, we can see the word or the terminology known as sakin letter. Now, sakin letter is a letter carrying a sukoon. So for example, over here, the lam is a sakin letter because it is carrying a sukoon. So this lam will now be known as sakin lam. So we can refer to this lam as sakin lam. Similarly, this meme, it carries a sukoon. So this is a sakin meme. So whenever we say sakin letter or a sakin meme or a sakin lam, any other letter that carries a sukoon, that means that that letter specifically carries a sukoon. Sukoon causes joining. So if you see a sukoon, that indicates to you that we need to join. A sakin letter, so as we all know, a sakin letter is a letter carrying a sukoon, will join on to the most recent voweled letter. So a sakin letter, a letter carrying a sukoon, will join on to the most recent letter that carries a stroke. Okay, so we've had a look at what sakin letter means. We have had a look at what a voweled letter means. So over here, this is telling us that a sakin letter will join on to the most recent voweled letter. When we do that, we must make sure to sound both the voweled letter and the sakin letter. So let's have a look. So over here, for example, we have a voweled letter, we have alif, and we have a sakin letter, lam. So a sakin letter would join on to the most recent voweled letter, which is alif. So alif and lam will join together to form the sound al. Next, we have a sakin letter in meme sakin. This will join onto the most recent vowel letter, which is ha. So ha will join onto the meme, making the sound hum. And then we have dal with the dhamma, do. So altogether it will be alhamdu, alhamdu. Okay. So when you see a sakin letter, always look for the most recent vowel letter. And those two letters will join together to form the sound. Okay, so for example, over here we can see that, let's spot the sakin letter. The sakin letter is found at the end of this word. The ta is a sakin letter because it carries a sukoon. So over here, this ta will join on to the most recent voweled letter. So let's have a look at the letter before it. Ba. Is ba a voweled letter? Yes, it is because it carries a fatha. So ba will join on to ta. But. Nusibat. Similarly, over here we can see we have a sakin letter. The sheen is a sakin letter. It will join on to the most recent voweled letter. So let's work our way backwards. We have alif. Now, is alif a voweled letter? Yes, it is because it carries a dhamma. So alif will join on to the sheen. Ush. Ushhidu. Next, we have a ra, sakin. Okay, it will join on to the most recent voweled letter, which is ba. Bar. Barqun. Let's have a look at another example. We have ayn. Okay, the letter ayn is a sakin letter because it carries a sukoon. So let's have a look at what it will join on to. It will join on to the most recent voweled letter, which is noon. So noon will join on to ayn. Na. Na'budu. Okay, let's have a look at another example. Let's have a look over here. Now, in this example, we have two sakin letters. We have lam sakin and we have mim sakin. Okay, so we need to see what both of these letters will join on to. So firstly, this lam will join on to this qaf because it's the most recent voweled letter, and this mim will join on to this ta because it is the most recent voweled letter. So it will be qultum, qultum. We have to make sure to sound both the voweled letter and the sakin letter when we join them together. This example over here, we have ta sakin. It will join on to the ha, being the most recent voweled letter. Rabihat. This one over here, ha is the sakin letter. It will join on to the noon. Nahnu. And over here, the ta is the sakin letter. It will join on to the qaf because it is the most recent vowel letter. Khuliqat. Khuliqat. Okay, so those were just a few examples where we see sakin letters. Okay, just to recap, sakin letter is a letter carrying a sukoon. A voweled letter is a letter carrying a stroke. Sakin letter joins to the most recent voweled letter. Okay, so sakin letter is a letter carrying a sukoon. So for example, lam, sakin. Okay, voweled letter is a letter carrying a stroke. So for example, alif has a fatha, a. Okay, now sakin letter joins to the most recent voweled letter, and when we join those two letters, we have to make sure that we sound both the voweled letter and the sakin letter. So if we were to join this alif voweled letter to this lam sakin, then it will be al, al. Make sure that you don't rush through, and make sure that you make the complete sound, meaning both of those sounds, both the voweled letter sound and the sakin letter sound. So those are the steps to follow when you want to join a sakin letter to the most recent voweled letter. And that's the rule that we are covering today.